No matter how far you may go, there's always one just down the road. Town Pump, ooh, pump it up, pump it up.
Town Pump congratulates the Montana State Bobcats for a great season. Good luck in the national championship game. Town Pump also invites you to visit a Town Pump store today for gas and groceries. Plus, sign up for Pump It Up rewards at townpump.com to save 5 cents on every gallon of gas.
Town Pump, right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Big Sky Breakdown, road to Nashville, back from Nashville. I guess it's road from Nashville now as we're back in Montana. Brooks Nuanez joining us. And what a weekend it was. We've been doing this for a really long time. We've covered a whole ton of really good teams. And this was the first one that actually got it done and got over the top. The last time that a Montana team won the national championship, Brooks, you were 10 years old. I think you're in fourth or fifth grade. I was 14 years old. I was in eighth grade. So it's been a long time since this has happened. So what do you make of just the we'll get into the way it went down, but what do you make of just what this means to the state of Montana, the Big Sky Conference, and Montana State?
Well, Colter, I mean, what a weekend it was, and you didn't have to give away my age so easily right there. Usually we kind of skirt around it a little bit, but you put it right on the head there.
So half our listeners think I'm 50, so whatever.
Well, half of them think I'm probably about 48, so I'm not. Maybe they think I'm 28, who knows, but I'm somewhere in the middle. And Colter, it means everything. Honestly, it means everything to the state of Montana. It means everything to people who hate every bit of it. It means everything to Grizz fans who loathe what happened this weekend. But more so, it means everything to a program in Montana State that has had a trajectory like no other program really in the country in the last, 8 years. There has been some schools that have found their way to the top. We always call them the Dakota States of the world, but they've been there. Their rise was before this. So the last rise that has really happened has been, the Montana State Bobcats. Montana made it to the top, wavered a little bit, had a little dip, now has found their way back into being a perennial top 5 program. Montana State was not that 8 years ago or 10 years ago. Montana State was fighting their way, through the Denarius McGee years as a number 1 team in the country, back down to some down years, going into the end of Rob Ash into Jeff Choate, and now the rise that Choate was able to start this team on, and now that Brent Vigen has been able to capitalize on is pretty unheralded. And the way that they were able to get it done in quite the fashion, we call them the catatonic cats. I mean, they almost
Cardiac and catatonic all at the same time, right?
They went ahead and almost blew that thing, which made it even more interesting. And talk about heart palpitations for anyone involved.
Man, we were right behind Travis Lulay in the airport about 6 o'clock in the morning, the all-time great Bobcat quarterback, and Travis is a buddy of mine, and we text throughout the season, and he's always keeping track of it. I know he follows along, and he's like, man, I don't even have any words, man. He's like, that was like a near-death experience for me. He's like, I'm so thrilled, but I also can't even talk to you right now because I almost, he's like, I had to leave the stadium for a minute to recompose myself. So certainly it was a thrilling ending. We'll get into the ins and outs of the game, but I want to keep on the big picture here for a minute. Brent Vigen is the man who got Montana State over the top. How much credit does Brent Vigen deserve? Like, is it all the way weighted towards the man who's leading the charge, or is he just the great? Not just. There's no just about it. He just won a national championship. It's an epic accomplishment, no question. But the structure at Montana State is so big and so powerful, and they've done such a good job institutionally. So, like, how do you sort of weigh these factors? Like, I guess the question is, what allowed Brent Vigen to be the guy that takes it over the top? And how much credit does he deserve for being the guy that brought home the first national championship trophy in 41 years to Montana State?
Colter, I think it's two-pronged. I think that it can be two things at the same time. I think that Brent Vigen deserves all the credit. I think he deserves every bit of it for a variety of reasons. I mean, his consistency, his ability, his unwaveringness, his ability to really hone in on the details while also seeing the big picture. He's never shied away from the big picture. He's never shied away from what it means for a player to do this or what it means for the program to reach a certain thing. But he also takes a 1-0 mentality, those kind of things that are really important to a team that does want to accomplish big goals. That's really challenging to do. That takes a really dynamic individual, someone who's really grounded as well. So Brent Vigen deserves all the credit in that. But at the end of the day, Colter, I think the saying that we've all known for generations is that it's not about X's and O's, it's about Jimmys and Joes, right? It's the players that get this thing done. We talk about some of the play calling. We can talk about the play that won the game on 4th and 10 in overtime to win a national championship. You can talk about the play calling, but you still have to execute. And they have some guys that are executing at an extremely high level. You can also talk about, some of the slip ups where you have, 8 or 9 false starts, you have penalties. All of that is a part of being a human. All of that's part of being a student athlete, being a quote unquote amateur athlete. So all those things play into the end of the day. The players have to get it done. And they have a ton of talent, right? The roster is really deep. They've developed a bunch of guys. There's Montana guys through and through on both sides of the ball that are really come from small towns, come from big schools, come from whatever you want to call it. There is a healthy mix of Montana kids that play into this. So at the end of the day, I think both those things can be true. You can't shy away from what Brent Vigen has put, at least his stamp this thus far on Montana State's program.
I think the number one thing I'd give credit to Vigen for is the elevated sense of expectation. There was a certain sense of expectation and a certain sense of desire amongst Montana State for the last 25 years, ever since they broke the streak and turned the corner. But that expectation was centered upon beating the Grizz. And then Rob Ashe sort of drifted from that expectation, even though he had a lot of success outside of the games with Montana. And make no mistake, he finished 2-7 against the Grizz, but he won in Missoula twice. He secured Big Sky Conference championships by winning in Missoula. He snapped the Grizzlies 17 season, streak of being in the playoffs. He ended Chase Reynolds' career. Rob Ashe was the guy that led that team. And you can say, well, it was Denarius McGee and Lorenzo Davis. Well, Rob Ashe recruited those guys. So Ashe does deserve credit there. But the expectation at Montana State was just wholly different. Like when they won a playoff game, it was celebrating like, you'd won the Super Bowl when you're just in the quarterfinals. Like there wasn't this is national championship or bust. That wasn't an expectation until Brent Vigen arrived. Jeff Choate certainly had the vision to try to get it there, but he also tore it down both out of necessity and because of that's his personality and that's the way that he had to do it, was bottom it out before you start the rise. And I certainly think that he probably had national championship expectations on the horizon, but Vigen has had national championship expectations since the very beginning. Like when Vigen took over, everybody's wondering, well, how the heck is this guy, this soft-spoken guy from North Dakota, going to be able to take over for Mr. Dynamic Grizzly Slayer Jeff Choate? And Vigen rides into Wyoming and almost beats an FBS team in his very first game, and then doesn't lose again until he comes back to Missoula, and then doesn't lose again until he go to Frisco, Texas. Pretty impressive debut, but he's been able to build off of that. It wasn't a, holy cow, what a great turnaround after we lost to Missoula to get to Frisco, pat ourselves on the back. It was, no, we're refocusing. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? The following season, couldn't get over the top against South Dakota State. Okay, why? Acknowledge it, develop it, go after it. Keep building, keep building, keep building. And I think that's the thing he deserves the most credit for. When you talk about the Jimmies and the Joes, a lot of that's just the recruiting that's been instituted at Montana State from Bo Beck and Michael Petrie and Jeff Choate and Rob Ashe all the way through now, all the guys that have done it these last several years. There's been so much made of the in-state recruiting battle. I think several of the assistants at Montana State deserve tons of credit for being able to swing the in-state recruiting battle in Montana State's favor. But that's where I think the big picture comes in, and that's where you have to give credit to the institution. To me, the number one reason why Montana-made football players want to go to Montana State is because they're winning. The number two reason, though, is that Montana State is the cool place to go to school. That's where everybody wants to go to school. So why wouldn't you want to go to school with all the other kids that from around your town and then your high school, but also probably your community, your state? So that's where people like Wada Cruzado, Leon Costello, the people institutionally, they're making Bozeman a destination place. And I think that's where you're drawing in-state and out-of-state recruits at such a high level.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I think Brent Vigen brought that national championship or bust mentality with him. But guess where he also was mirroring that, Colter? From across the hill, right?
That's right.
That's what Montana has been doing for the better part of
across the hill and across the plains, right? It's a convergence. Sure. It's the Montana attitude for a long time, but also it's the North Dakota State attitude, certainly for the duration of their prestigious history, even go back to the D2 days when he was a player.
Yeah, so that's something that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. If you want to, you got to at times mimic people, and that's something where we don't have to talk about the Grizzlies' shortcomings right now, but that's something where Montana is falling really short right now, is where they're saying Montana State says, well, what are the Grizz doing? We gotta act like that. We gotta be like that. We gotta beat that team. And Montana is saying, we don't care what they do. They're little brother. They ain't us. We don't need to copy anything they do. And where that's gonna really have to change if Montana wants to flip this thing around. But that being said, yeah, there's been a foundation laid, and that's how these things work, right? Usually, when you talk about coaching trees and pyramids, it takes generations to build this kind of momentum that Montana State now has. So credit to them, credit to Montana State, credit to Brent Vigen for seeing that and capitalizing on something that was kind of already at least in motion.
Skyline Sports is on the road to Nashville, and we couldn't get there without our friends at Dawes Insurance. Brad Dawes has been serving Montana and Idaho with State Farm for more than 50 years, particularly Bozeman and Big Sky. Brad's team of 12 professionals has more than 100 years of combined experience and among the best trust of any insurance agency in Montana. Brad and his son Dusty are the only father and son duo to earn All-American honors each for Montana State football. Brad was an All-American defensive lineman for legendary head coach Sonny Holland in the 1970s. And Dusty was a All-American long snapper and offensive lineman for Mike Kramer in the early 2000s. Dawes Insurance offers a full line of State Farm products, including auto, home, life, health, and business insurance. Brad and his team can be reached at 406-586-HOME or braddawes.com. Dawes Insurance, proud to help Skyline Sports on our road to Nashville.
We can't allow them to find any hope. No hope. Make it mean something, fellas. Now is the time. This is the place. Any team, anywhere, anytime.
Y'all take the fight to him.
It's going to be picked off. Taken.
Take 1 week. Episode 6.
Big Sky Breakdown, probably presented in part by our friends at the Montana State Quarterback Club. They helped get us to and from Nashville. Certainly, they have had an enormous impact. It was really fun seeing a lot of those guys. Some of the guys from the 1976 and 84 championship teams that were just so ready to not be the most recent Bobcat teams to have won the national championship. And those guys, led by, Doug Alexander and Rick Ogle back in the day, and now headed up by Rick Van Cleve. Those guys have done an awesome job of helping build the foundation of fundraising that's specifically for the football program there at Montana State. So we appreciate them so much for helping us get to and from Nashville. Okay, the most important question of the game, the one that's been debated on within the Skyline Sports Airbnb and now on the Skyline Sports text thread endlessly, was it offensive PI on Daniel Sapkowitz on the potential touchdown early in the first quarter on Illinois State star receiver?
Absolutely not, man.
And you're a DB.
Get out of here. Offensive pass interference needs to be a real advantage maker. That guy was falling over. Sopkowitz barely touched him. He put his hands down almost to avoid, running into this dude who's flailing all over the place. It was absolutely not offensive pass interference, and it completely changes the game.
I'm joking that that's the biggest play in the game. It's just been the thing that we've been debating endlessly on the text thread. So
It changed the game, man.
It definitely changed the game, and I think that's the game within the game, right? That's what made this such a sweet football game. Is we've seen a lot of games that were really competitive this year, but they had like these massive tidal waves, like the Brawl 2.0. It was all cats, and the Grizz were overwhelmed. They were trying to find their footing, and everything was going Montana State's way. Nothing was going the Grizz way. But then it was all Grizz as they rally furiously back and they take the lead, and then it was all cats. And there's not nearly as many of like the minute where you point to if that play changed, if that play changed, if that play changed, this would go a different direction. So let's just go through them. I thought one of the big impactful plays early was Adam Jones getting his ankle rolled up on from the backside and also losing his contact, it looked like, on one of the opening drives. A lot of people are making a lot of Montana State's run game in this one. When you dive into the stats, only rushed for 101 yards. Adam Jones and Julius Davis each only had 5 carries each. How much do you think the early Jones ding, though, sort of impacted the way that they operated offensively?
Well, I think it definitely impacted it, but I also think that there's no reason to run, hit your head against a brick wall for no reason. I mean, I think that they identified before the game that Illinois State was going to be stout up front and their linebackers as well as the front and just the way that their scheme was going to be challenging to run the football against.
Right.
If you didn't get the
There's also
edge,
the part there's also the part where you false start 9 times. You're in disadvantageous running situations too, right?
yeah, of course. But I mean, I think that they might have run the ball twice as many times, but that still gives those two dudes each 10 carries, which is not that many for the team that runs the football at this kind of level. So let's say that they run it a tiny bit more. Sure, I think the false starts play into it, but I also think that y- in a game like that, you know who I'm going to give the ball, Coulter? I'm going to give the ball to Taco Dowler. I'm going to give the ball to Taco Dowler as many times as I possibly can. And if that means that that's 7 times, 10 times, I think that you're going to give your ball to your best player. Is Adam Jones one of their best players? Yes. Is Julius Davis up there? No doubt. Dowler's established himself at this exact moment as the best offensive weapon in the country. So,
Yeah.
so I'd probably give it to that guy if I have an opportunity to. And then guess who's going to have the most ball security? Guess who's not going to try to get extra yards and maybe fumble? Guess who's not going to have to play on a rolled up ankle? Justin Lamson. So you leave the ball in a great decision maker's hands, and then you get it out to your best playmaker. And of course, yes, the false starts played huge into it. And you have to adjust, right? I mean, like I say, I probably cut their run attempts in half. Uh, but nonetheless, I do think that Montana State was able to be nimble in their game plan. They weren't stuck to it, which is how you have to be. Imagine if they just tried to run the ball after all those false starts into a tough front. I mean, you might end up losing that game. So
Right,
I think
right.
it was pretty smart, and at least their ability to be multiple and not have to run the ball because they have that in the back pocket or the side pocket or on just the left hand rather than the right hand is a huge advantage for Montana State.
I mean, what you just said is spot on because I was thinking about that. I was thinking about what Brent Vigen was very adamant and direct in talking about the passing game in the post-game press conference. He said that is the thing that we had to do better. He's like, you can run the ball for 300 yards all day long, and that's something that obviously is an advantage for us against most teams. But there's just going to be games you get to where you can't do that. So then what can you do? And I was thinking about that because Tommy Mellott happened because the Bobcats faced multiple opponents down the stretch in the 2021 season that shut them down, and they couldn't operate offensively at all. And Matt McKay did nothing. Like against Weber State, the Cats did nothing on offense. But Isaiah Fonse is a dog, and he willed them to 13 points. And the defense was so crazy good, and Ty Okada was such a maniac that night in Ogden that they won 13-7. And then a couple weeks later, they hit a brick wall in Missoula and they scored 10 points. And one of those, the only touchdown was a late in the half touchdown on a scripted 2-minute drill. Other than that, they got nothing. They got completely shut down, and it's because they couldn't throw the ball when the 3-3-5 is swarming. Because the Illinois State defense is a little bit similar to the Grizz. They play a stand-up guy on the front, so it's more like a 4-man front with a stand-up than it is like a 3-3-5 without the true like guy lined up over the tight end / tackle. But a lot of the mechanisms of it and like the way that they flow and the way that their linebackers go and stuff, it is a little bit similar. And so you do have uh you do have drawbacks, right? Like if you hit speed bumps, then you don't have an answer. Well, they have an answer now. They have an answer in Justin Lamson. And that's the other thing is I think that there's been a lot being made of the offensive statistics and the breakdown. Montana State ran 34 less plays than Illinois State. If you only run 51 plays, that's going to break down to only having this many plays for each of the guys, right? Like when your quarterback runs 10 times, Taco Dowler has 8 catches plus 2 more rushes. Adam Jones has 5 carries plus 8, or plus, excuse me, 3 catches, so 8 carries. That's 28 of your 41 plays right there. You only got 13 more plays to get around everybody else. So everybody's numbers were down because of the limited number of plays they made. The whole point is that I wouldn't read into the statistics at all. The only statistics you need to know are the amount of points that they scored and the explosives that they were able to manufacture, including Dane Steele's touchdown, Taco Dowler's touchdown, and then Justin Lamson capping off the other 2 touchdown drives with really nice touchdown runs.
Yeah, I mean the stats are for losers, man. The only stat you need to know is what size your ring is, right? I mean, you put your natty on the middle finger so you can put it up in the air. Do you like it on your pinky? I mean, we're talking about a whole different ball game when it comes to just trying to win. And Montana State, as we've mentioned, they had some blunders during the game to where you really had to scrap any kind of like, shiny object or star power or whatever. You really really had to just get it done. You had to like make plays when plays need to be made.
Yeah, what do you make of that part? Justin Lamson was 12 of 13 in the first half. They had an unbelievable drive that was boom, bam, boom, right down the field to get up 21-7 at halftime, and then they completely sputtered on offense in the second half. What are the main factors that made them sputter in the second half, do you think?
I mean, Illinois State being able to adjust, guess what that is? Good coaching. You don't expect a coach who's been there for what, 20 years with
Right.
an experienced staff. Like,
Not to dunk on Bobby Houck, but Bobby Houck said in both of his post-game press conferences after they lost to the Grizz, or after they lost to the Cats, the Grizz lost to the Cats, that his team was very vanilla and didn't bring a bunch of pressure on defense. And like somebody asked him about specifically about the 3rd and 20 in the Super Bowl, and Bobby said, "Well, generally when you have a quarterback that runs like Lamson, you want to pressure him, and we just didn't quite pressure him enough today." What did Illinois State do to adjust? They
brought the
closed
house.
off all the rushing lanes for Lamson by just blitzing. Just straight up, we're sending guys right through the B gap so that he has to figure out a way to get it out, and then they rushed him and sped him up.
Yeah, I mean, you go ahead and windmill on Coach Houck. He wasn't making adjustments this entire year when it comes to, I mean, they were earlier when they played Montana State twice, not a ton of adjustment. People say, like, during the first quarter, why the heck aren't we going to change that? We got to switch this up. You can't do that on the sidelines. You can't get 11 plus 11 backups. You can't get 25 men in 3 minutes to completely switch your scheme. You need like 20 minutes to do that. That's called halftime, folks, right? You go in, you completely change things up. We saw the Montana Grizzlies do this to lesser teams all year. Play it kind of close, shut them out in the second half, win by 30, right? I mean, that's what good teams do. That's what Illinois State was able to do, is come back out with a completely different game plan, evaluate what they weren't doing well, where they were vulnerable, especially in the quarterback run game, as you mentioned, and completely switch it up and bring brand new pressure for a quarterback that hasn't seen that as a ton this year. It's a genius move, and guess what? That's how you almost win a natty. That's how you get to this point, is you have coaching that's at that level.
The the way that the second half sort of unraveled because both teams were sort of unraveling. I had an interesting thought. It was we were watching the college football playoff last night. Tell me what you think of this sort of psychological theory. Last night, did you watch the game? Did you watch Ole Miss Miami by chance?
I watched the end of it. I was at basketball
Yeah, you were
practice.
doing basketball practice. Sure, I was sort of doing bedtime and stuff too, but I watched the last probably like, I don't know, 20 minutes of game time, like the third quarter through the end of the game. And the ability to rise to the occasion for both sides. Like it was like, okay, both these teams are going to put themselves in scoring position every single time that they have the ball until the clock runs zero. And even when Carson Beck scored with 18 seconds left to play, you still thought Trinidad Chambliss was going to go down and give Ole Miss a shot to at least have a chance to score a game-winning touchdown. And I thought the moxie and just the confidence of those guys was so profound. But I wonder this. I know pressure is a big part of games and sports and in general, et cetera. I wonder if the guys at the top level of college football are more equipped to handle it now because they are so delusional, because they've been like fed. It's all about them and their, go be great, and I'm going to go get mine. I'm going to get my bag, and and there is no consequence either. Like if you win, you win. If you don't, you can transfer it. You got another bag of money waiting for you somewhere else. So they have like an irrational confidence. I just wonder if because like the guys at Montana State, like there's multiple guys in that game that are seniors for both Montana State and Illinois State that 100% know they're never playing football again. Like they don't have no aspiration to do a pro day or go to the league or anything like that. That is their last football game, period, and they know it going in. Does that make you more nervous? Like, is there a difference in the psychology of these guys because there's so much delusion at the top level of college football?
I think that's a pretty good framework to look at maybe some of the issues that both sides or Montana State specifically saw. I think Colter Moore is the pressure is so immense. You're playing, you don't beat the Grizz twice to go lose. You don't have the sequence
Right.
of events that played into the culmination of this game, which was 5, 6, 10. We talked about it 15, 20 years in the making for a team that most people 20, 15 years ago would say that they could have never done it. And now you have all of this institutional momentum. It's the cool school where everyone wants to go. You have the entire state either with you or against you, but it's every person, every single person has a thought or opinion and is watching. Yeah, it's not the SEC where it means more. Well, guess what? It means the most, and it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. These are young people. Is that any excuse? No, because guess what? Taco Dollar ain't scared. Paul Broad ain't scared,
Right.
right? You might see some of your teammates next to you, your brothers in arms, be a little shaky, but they were able to get it done, man. And guess what? That was not like God, the Cats almost blew it and lost to some, average team. Illinois State, which we knew going into this, Colter, we were both like, yo, this is not a gimme. This is the real deal. They were the real deal. They
Yeah.
they would have smoked every single team we've seen this year,
No question.
including the Grizz.
Skyline Sports is on the road to Nashville. We couldn't do it without Blackfoot Communications. As the Montana State Bobcats take Bozeman pride on the road for the national championship, Blackfoot Communications is proud to support the businesses that keep this community moving. With managed services, high-speed internet, and business voice solutions, Blackfoot delivers the reliability and local support Bozeman businesses depend on game day and every day. Blackfoot Communications has been around for more than 70 years, providing high-quality jobs to people around southwestern Montana. To learn more, visit blackfoot.com. Blackfoot Communications, powering Bobcats and powering Bozeman businesses.
I was approached by a group of men, really right out of our national championship appearance. I think they saw NIL as an opportunity to continue to allow our program to grow. And it was very well thought out of. At the time, they didn't just come up with this on a whim. I think they studied other institutions across the country at all levels to be able to do it right, to be able to implement it the right way, align themselves ultimately with Blueprint after talking, I think, with several outside entities on how it should be managed. All our intentions with the Bobcat Collective are in the right place, and that's the most important thing. They're about continuing to promote our program, allowing our guys opportunities to help along with that. I think that's really important. It really, I think, has provided this give and take. Our guys are certainly benefiting from it, but then they're giving back at the same time, whether it's individual opportunities with particular businesses or just in general giving back through the collective to our community.
Dusty Dawes of State Farm Insurance is a third-generation State Farm agent and a second-generation Bobcat football player. His State Farm agency in Bozeman has been locally owned and operated for 13 years, and Dusty's crew has a combined 40 years of experience with 5 fully licensed professional team members. Dusty Dawes State Farm offers auto, home, life, health, and small business insurance. They also are community-driven, supporting Montana State Athletics, Bozeman and Gallatin High School, Belgrade High School, and Park High in Livingston. Dusty Dawes has also given back to the Bozeman Cancer Center, Fort Ellis Fire Station, and the Shane Center in Livingston. Former All-American long snapper and tight end/offensive lineman, played under Mike Kramer 2000 until 2004. Dusty and his team can be reached anytime at 406-586-0084 or at DustyDawes.com. Dusty Dawes State Farm Insurance, proud to support Skyline Sports and send us on our road to Nashville. Brent Vigen nailed it in the lead up. One of his lead up pressers, he had 4 of them, but one of the lead up pressers, he said, "I don't look at the 30-point loss that they had in the last week of the regular season. I look at the rest of the body of work and wonder how the heck did the 30-point loss even happen." I kept thinking that. I mean, you could tell immediately during pregame warmups. You were like, "Okay, this team looks it, right?" Like, they got a great strength coach. They had dudes, both sides. Physically formidable all the way across the lineup. And then you started watching Rittenhouse. You're like, "Oh, this dude's got mad swag. Like, this dude's walking on clouds right now. He's just feeling it, And then you look at Vic Dawson and you're like, well, there's no running backs in the Big Sky that look like that. There's guys in the Big Sky that are really good running backs. I'm not saying Vic Dawson's better than Eli Gilman and Adam Jones and Julius Davis, but there's no back that looks like him. There's no 6'2", 230-pound inside zone jackhammer like that guy. That was the best offensive line we've seen all year, period. Better than Montana State's offensive line. It's the best offensive line
No question. No
we've seen
question.
all year.
No
I thought it
question.
was one of the 3 or 4 best defensive lines. I thought those were the best linebackers, period, straight out, that we've seen all year, except with the exception of one guy. And he became Superman again on Saturday. That's Cole Taylor. We'll get to him in a minute. But I agree with you, man. I thought across the board, I thought the dude who got thrown out for targeting, number 4, Brown, nasty. I mean, that is the guy, that guy is the perfect Sam linebacker slash nickel for the Missouri Valley. 6'2", 215, runs sideline to sideline, can smack you, can cover in the slot. Perfect. 46, Ty Niekamp, nasty. 44, his little brother, nasty. Dexter Niekamp coming off the edge. I thought all the D linemen were good. I thought the safety Bauer that kept rolling down in the box, I thought he was good. Yeah, they were super impressive, man. I don't understand how it was possible that they lost 4 games during the regular season, because that was straight up man for man, talent wise, operation wise, the second best team that we saw all year long.
I mean, at times they were the best, man. I mean, when the offense was chugging, the running back looks more league than anyone we've seen in a decade. 2 receivers, some freshman kid that's just going out of his mind, doing his best Tuck Dollar impression. They got guys all over on defense. I loved the linebacker 13. I loved the DB number 1. They were talking smack every single play, never backed down. I mean, it was a real deal team, So the Cats had their hands full, and I knew that going in. Like I had experience with seeing a team like Richmond in 2008 play the Grizz, the Villanova team. These teams, you don't go on a run like this and get hot like this if you're not legit. Like you're not just getting lucky beating these teams. You are on an absolute heater, but you also have talent. And somewhere along the way, something bad happened. Injury, you lost a game here or there. Illinois State was the real deal, man. And, credit to the Cats for hanging in there and be able to beat a team that's that good. I mean, it was a really, really impressive, even though, again, Montana State tried to give it away, which was wild to watch.
But now that they have it in the bag, that whole thing like goes away, right? Or at least you assume it does.
I mean, it does not go away until they prove that it's gone.
True. I just think when you have multiple generations of people that are expecting you to take home a championship win, and there was just so much pressure on Montana State.
Bro, it's so much pressure. But again, every single person that's a Montana State fan or has covered them like you and I have been around it for such a long time, intimately around it. When it was happening, we were like, this is of their ilk. They have this in them. And until they don't, they still have it. I mean, to get to 4th down and to pull off that play after 2 blocked field goals under a minute. I mean, we're talking about like, this is mind-bending stuff, man. Otherwise, they lose that game. And neither of those 2 things, either of those blocked field goals or extra point, either the block kicks and then the 4th down play, any of those things don't happen and they don't win. And to get all 3 of those under a minute of real gameplay is complete insanity. So the fact that they even put themselves in that position means that it's somewhere in the DNA. Should they? I mean, I'm not talking smack. I'm not taking away from anything here. Every person who's been around this knows. We call them the catatonic cats, right? You watched it with Choate. Yeah, these little meltdowns. Yeah, these little situations where you're like, what is happening? Rise to the moment in Cat Grizz? Sure, absolutely. But there's these little situations. Brent Vigen's had a couple of them. Are you going to use the timeout? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe it's the right decision, maybe you don't. It's still in there, Colter. And even if it's 1%, they come out and blitz everybody next year and go ahead and win another one. Like I've said that they likely will since mid-October. I said they're going back to back, and that's just my professional opinion. That's not necessarily how I feel in my heart. That's just what I see on the field. If they were to go do that and actually house somebody and take home a real strong natty, then you can say it's gone. But until then, it's like, man, it lingers.
Well, there's also the part where national championship games and NDSU sort of skewed this, and South Dakota State did too, because South Dakota State blew out North Dakota State and Montana in back-to-back years in the national championship game, and we had this streak of 3 national championship games in a row that were blowouts, because the Cats got blown out in 21, South Dakota State blew out North Dakota State in 22, South Dakota State blew out Montana in 23. And then 24, it gets back to being a back and forth good national championship game, even though the Cats got off to a slow start, and it ended up a 3-point game. But that's how it goes, right? Like I just went through all of North Dakota State's national championship game victories, and for all of the 35-7s like they did against Towson in 2013 to cap a repeat, they also have a 29-28 against Illinois State the following year. 1 point. How about that? Roxbacks lost 2 national championship games by 2 points.
Ouch.
That's probably an underrated factor here too, right? That dude is an awesome coach, man. And like he's what I was thinking about this. What other situation exists in the country where based on the resources and the interest and the fan base and all that stuff within your program, are you so just solidified in the middle as Illinois State? Like they will never have the resources and the interest of the Dakotas, but they also will always be probably a little bit better than everybody else because of where they're located and because of who their head coach is. But like they're just booked in 5th place in the Missouri Valley for life. Yet they haven't been just that. They've been to the Elite Eight 5 times and they've been to the championship game twice. The guy deserves a ton of credit, man. That was an awesome team that he put together. Anyways, back to the point I was making. For every blowout, you have close victories too, right? Like North Dakota State had a 1-point win, a 2-point win, a 4-point win, and a 3-point win amongst their 10 national championships. A lot of times it just comes down to the wire in the national championship. Other times it gets, away from you and it becomes a blowout. So, I just think it was a paramount moment for Montana State.
I'm not saying that the Cats have to go avalanche anybody. I'm just saying that they need until you're saying what that little thing is, that little thing that's deep down in there somewhere, whatever the heck it is, right? Whatever that is to go away, they have to control the game, and they lost control of that game. They were completely not only lost control, they were out of control in the game. They went from absolutely housing someone. That score to end the first half completely changes the game.
Yeah.
You come out and just repeat that first half, you win going away. And not only did they not repeat the first half, not only did they not come back down to the baseline, they lost it. And they lost complete control of all of it.
Right. They had the ball coming out of halftime. They went 3 and out, and then they gave up a 15-play drive that, erased the third quarter. And all of a sudden now it's 21-14. You're looking up at the clock. You're like, what happened to the third quarter? I literally was naming your guys' photos, and I was watching the game, but there was one change of possession and then like 14 straight inside zone plays. And then all of a sudden Illinois State had scored. I looked at the clock and I was like, there's 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. What just happened to this game? What else were like moments within the game that maybe people are glossing over? Because obviously the block kicks are getting so many headlines. Dane Steele's ridiculous touchdown before the half. Taco Dowler's ridiculous reverse touchdown after the half. Obviously, Taco Dowler's 4th down touchdown in overtime. All those are getting tons of headlines. What else is maybe getting glossed over or not remembered? I thought the call when Illinois State was like inside the 10 and they had it 4th and goal from the 8, and they went for it and threw the jump ball to Sopkowitz and he beasted Seth Johnson for the touchdown in the corner. I thought that was a ballsy ass call right there to go down 1 touchdown, and that's what not a lot of people are talking about.
You're not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
No matter how far you may go, there's always one just down the road. Town Pump, who pump it up, pump it up.
Town Pump has been Montana's best since 1953, and Town Pump is proud to send Skyline Sports on the road to Nashville. Montana State is gunning for its first national championship in 41 years. Follow along at SkylineSportsMT.com. The road to Nashville, proudly presented by Town Pump.
Town Pump, right down the road, pump it up, oh yeah.
Drink a beer and support a Grizz athlete. DraftWorks is a longtime favorite of beer enthusiasts across the Treasure State, and DraftWorks has created a sessionable, delicious lager that donates part of every sale to the name, image, and likeness efforts at the University of Montana. Up with Montana Lager is a crisp, effervescent beer that pours pale straw in color and greets you with an inviting malty aroma, and it's crafted with Grizz athletes in mind. If you're headed to the tailgate or stocking up to watch football, give back to the NIL Collective at the University of Montana by drinking Up with Montana Lager, proudly created by DraftWorks Brewing.
Yeah, I mean, that play was huge, Colter. I think, honestly, that one of the most untold stories of the entire game was Montana State's defense being able to even hang in there at all. Just to be able to withstand any of it. giving up touchdowns is one thing. Giving up 15-yard drives, I mean, yeah, it's at some point it's not a bend don't break, you will break. And they somehow found a way to like elongate the game in a way to just to hang in there. Um, Also, no turnovers in the game, right? Was there? I don't think there was a single turnover on either side of the ball.
Trying to think. Neither quarterback threw a pick.
There was the one fumble that got recovered by Illinois State in the end zone, and then there was the one that got turned back for targeting.
Yep.
But no turnovers in the game, which is a
Nope.
huge part of what Montana State was able to hang in there. You're playing defense by playing offense with keeping the football, right? So, I mean, for as sloppy as the penalties were, for there to be no turnovers and be for the quarterbacks to be as efficient as they were, I mean, the second half, Illinois State's adjustments were the biggest part of the game for me. But for Montana State in the first half to hold them to 7 points uh, it's tremendous. I mean, 7-14 was different. Montana State goes up 21-7. To hold that team to 7 points is what won them the game. Because if they had any momentum in the first half like they did in the second half, Montana State might go ahead and lose that game, especially if they have the second half with the mistakes that they end up having. Does it, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like Montana State, yeah, in the second half, the defense was really getting pressure, was really getting pushed. Illinois State was executing at a high level. I'm not saying Montana State was lights out by any means. They set themselves up to last that game by playing so well in the first half.
One other guy we have to talk about. I guess two other guys we got to talk about. But first, Cole Taylor. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I know I've been high on
Dog.
this guy. I know I've been high on this guy.
Absolute
I was
dog.
sitting there in Eugene, Oregon, and from the moment I saw Oregon warm up, I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be a long day for the Cats, and because I mean, you guys know who's playing tonight? Oregon in the semifinals of the college football playoff, and they got all the dudes. But anyways, when Neil Daly went out, I was like, huh. And Cole Taylor had never really played in games besides on kick teams. Instantly, I was like, dude, who is that guy? That guy, he runs and tackles like Alex Singleton, except for he's 6'3", 235. What? Who is this meat truck? And then he had a great first half of the year, and then he had sort of a quiet middle half of the year. And man, did he come on strong down the stretch. And I mean, he was an animal in that game. That dude, if he takes another step, holy cow. They're gonna have to find a lot of money to keep him around Bozeman because he's top level in terms of his just intangible gifts and his physicality.
I mean, we call it, I wish there was a different term for it because I'm getting a little tired of saying ball knowers. If you know anything about ball, he's the best player on the field at all times. I mean, he just is. He's the most physically
Well,
dominant.
I think he's the second best player on the field. The best guy on the field is the guy that wrecks three guys and lets Cole Taylor run around.
Paul Brott. Yeah.
Paul Brott's the best guy on the field.
I'm-
Paul Brott. There's
that-
always
that-
the cliche of like, oh, the guys that are in the nose guards don't get any tackles or whatever because they just wreck the middle of the thing. That's true. Paul Brott wrecked three guys at once on at least 10 plays, and guess what? Still made the tackle too because he said it. I could tell too looking at him. That's where I get to chime into these press conferences online all the time, which is fine, and I appreciate Montana State for setting it up. But when you actually get to be in the presence of people, you just get to feel like what they're like. And I remember asking him, I was like, how are you feeling physically coming into this game, and what's sort of your mindset coming into this game? And he said, I will do whatever it takes to play my best game of my life on Monday. And guess what? He did.
Oh God, it's so good. It's also such heavy lineman bias over there by you.
Oh,
Uh,
hey, we're cut from the same cloth, dude. I love me some Paul Brott.
Yeah, you are 6'3". Yeah, don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Paul Brott's the most impactful player. Paul Brott's at his ceiling. Cole Taylor just started. Cole Taylor is
I get it.
scratching at the surface,
No, I
and
get
he's
it. I get
the
it.
best dude on the field.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't want to overhype him, but he has as many of the things you can't teach as any guy that we've ever.
there is no overhyping because we overhyped him 16 weeks ago, and then he just went to prove it for a month.
He just went
Like-
at 16 solo tackles in the Natty against the best inside zone team in the country.
I mean, it's like, come on, man. And he stays fresh, his ability to run. I mean, yeah, Caden Dowler's insane. Of course, we can go on offense and Lamson and Jones and Taco. Like, yeah, don't give me. There's stars on there's
Totally.
studs on this team.
Dak Cruz is awesome. Kenneth Iden's great.
The quarterback at Illinois State, Rittenhouse. You look at the running back. You look at the receiver.
Both the receivers, Sapkowitz and Dylan Moore, were
There's
also all great.
dogs, man. But again, ball knowers know that someone who's willing to run, tackle with that physicality, run back to the huddle, stand in the middle, and then catch inside zone to the face and eat it up and love it. And to be the baby-faced young kid that he is, I mean, it's unique, man.
Who
Like,
hardly played defense in high school too. I mean, that's the craziest part, man. He's only a
didn't
couple
he
years
not?
in
Didn't
defense.
he not play defense?
Yeah, no, he like played a little bit when like on the sophomore team or one of the freshman team or whatever. But yeah, no, he was the starting quarterback at CMR for 3 years and he didn't play hardly any defense.
Man, I mean, again, just the intangibles, let alone the natural nose
Yeah.
for the football.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing like it, man.
I
He's a
mean,
dog.
I know we got meathead backgrounds and I love lifting. I love like just the lifting stuff. But I'll never forget when Cole Taylor was a rising junior. He posted in high school. He posted a video of himself lifting weights, and it was just an over/under Twitter video. And the top video was him benching 315 pounds, and the bottom video was him power cleaning 305. And I'm counting the plates. I'm like pausing the video to count the plates. Because I know a lot of dudes that can power clean a lot of weight when they were in high school. You're one of them. Jace Palmer, Brandon Bostic, Colin Bingham, all guys that were up around, 285, 295, 300 power cleans. This dude was over 300 when he was a junior. I was looking at this dude, and then I'm looking at his Twitter profile. I'm like, this guy's the quarterback. I was like, dude, this guy is so fast tracking to either be a D end or an inside linebacker, and he just doesn't even know it yet. And sure enough, the projection was real. Because if you're that strong when you're that young, man, the sky's the limit for you.
Hey, look at me, dude. I was a 305-pound power cleaner, and I certainly didn't play quarterback, and I definitely did not have 16 tackles in the natty.
He also never got up to 240 like Colt Taylor. I mean, dude's legs are like this big around. He's a specimen of a man. Any other little plays that maybe people missed?
My favorite play of the game was late in the fourth quarter. It was in the fourth quarter. They put Julius Davis back in, and he has this run where he just absolutely trucks cities like three dudes. He was hunting people. He was literally snatching souls. Destroyed the safety. Stands up. There's a group of Illinois State linebacker, defenders around him. He charges through them, walks straight up to the middle of the thing, and flicks the football like this little celebration. Classic vintage Julius Davis play.
One of the great pictures we have of the weekend. I'll put it on Twitter for people. Go on Skyline Sports Twitter's page, and you'll find it there as soon as this podcast is live.
I have the whole sequence, and this little flick was this confidence of like, oh, the cats are kind of melting right now, but they still have this dog and they still have that guy. And you got to start to lean on these guys with this confidence. And yeah, JT Reed might not be snapping it very well. He's a little nervous. This guy, they still had a level of confidence somewhere within it, and they found it there for a moment. And I said, oh man, they might still have this, especially if it goes into overtime. They're going to be inside the red zone. You got a guy like Julius Davis that's going to be juiced up, ready to roll. I thought that was a huge play. I'm trying to think. I mean, there was a big hit on kickoff that I thought was a nice play. I think Colter Petrie got in there. I mean, Colter, I think a huge part of it was Petrie's played great during Cat Grizz 2.0. I think that he's an up and coming dude. I'm not trying to dog him at all. I'm just saying that when Caden Dowler was in, hurt albeit, they were kind of going away from him. When Caden Dowler came out, it seemed like the offense really got going because they weren't worried about where he was.
Well, and so much of that's just the schematic, this then that, right? Like, so they clouded Sapkowitz early, and then they decided they were going to try to man him for a minute, or at least bracket him, and boom, 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 he had 3 straight catches against Carson Williams, who now he's in the portal.
Yeah,
I just couldn't, total tangent, but I couldn't help but laugh that Carson Williams got just destroyed by Sapkowitz 3 times in a row in the first quarter, and then he's going in the portal, and now he's visiting Utah, and it's like, all right, Sapkowitz is really good, but guess what? You're going against that guy every freaking week in the
dude. I thought it when Seth Johnson got burned once, and then on that fourth down play, he's face masking Sapkowitz, who mosses him for a touchdown, and the whole time Seth Johnson's sitting there being like, "I'm going to Penn State."
I'm going to Penn State. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like, again, like Sapkowitz is nice, man. Like, you're playing that dude every weekend in the Big Ten, man. Ohio State's got 15 of that guy. They got 10 dudes that are way better than that guy, and then another 5 guys that are just like him. Anyways, good luck to those guys. We don't know them well. I was 0% surprised that all three of those corners jumped in the portal. That's what it is. Their coach was leaving. Trent Green, he's the new DC at NAU. So it is what it is. That's half the reason those guys were good is because they had so much confidence in themselves. So the fact that they're going out there and going and get the bag and going to the Big Ten and going to the Big 12, good for you.
Yeah, I'm not talking smack either. They're absolute dogs. I'm just
Anyways,
saying
back to like this and that, this and that. Sopkowitz burned Williams 3 times. Williams gets benched into the portal, and then they decided to go back to clouding him. Well, the cloud combined with then they had they motioned Dylan Lord into the slot. I think this was on Illinois State's second touchdown drive, or maybe they didn't even get a touchdown on this drive. It was in the first half. And Lord was running man-to-man up the seam, and Dowler had just bit just for 1 second, and then Lord got him, and Dowler tried to check him just like he would normally, and you could tell his arm went out. Rittenhouse overthrew him, but then Dowler went to the sideline, and he had to get the cuff tightened and all that. He came back into the game immediately. But at that exact moment, then Rittenhouse knew, okay, it's going to be inside zone, and if I read cloud over here, Lord out of the slot, over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, tremendous quarterbacking, right?
Yes, great quarterback.
And that's what you talk about, good coaching, is getting a guy prepared to be in that moment and taking what the defense will give you. It's a hard thing to do if you don't have the confidence and the vision to hang in there. I mean, he was so electric within the pocket and his ability to escape. I mean, he was so fast. I watched some of their games on film and stuff, but like in real life, first off, he's tiny, small, not tiny, but fast, man. Holy cow, electric. So yeah, I mean, just a true immense talent. I mean, talk about like the perfect FCS quarterback. Like, of course, that guy could play darn near anywhere, but like that is what this division and this sub-level is all about, is that kind of guy.
Right, like that guy can go play at Nevada or like,
Whatever.
Miami of Ohio or Central Michigan or whatever. But why? Like, why do that? Why not just be at Illinois State and be a 3-year starter and throw for 10,000 yards to go to the national championship? It's just so much better of an option for you. We actually do it at a place that matters. Okay, 2 things for you, and then we'll get you out of here. The local dispensary and mercantile offers the most high-quality products you'll find anywhere in Montana. The local only carries products that are created by local businesses or owners of the store. The Missoula-born and raised owners want to ensure a relaxed atmosphere with professional service at a customer-friendly price. The service is deli-style, so you can smell and see the product before you purchase. The owners are also farmers and have been cultivating green goodness for a combined 34 years. Swing by the local in East Missoula or downtown on the corner of Front and Orange where there's free parking. Keep it local. Country Foods, proud to support the 2025 Bobcats on their way to Nashville, and also proud to support Skyline Sports on their road to Nashville as well. Town & Country Foods is 100% employee-owned. They have 9 locations serving Bobcat Nation around southwest Montana. Town & Country Foods focuses on great food at a great price with a huge selection of organic and natural foods. Check out their weekly flyers on tncfood.com. Town & Country Foods in Bozeman, Belgrade, Helena, Livingston, Lewistown, Billings, and Dillon. Town & Country Foods, a stalwart of the Bobcat community and a proud sponsor of the road to Nashville.
Great game out there today, boys. That was awesome.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, check it out. We got the new 5th quarter jerseys and a note from Tommy. Tommy says, best of luck this season, and remember to keep the 5th quarter tradition alive. Whoa! Hey, guys, look. We made it to the R-Bar.
I'm already ready to go.
Our plays were on fire today, boys.
Yeah, so these wings.
And the drinks are secured.
Cheers to our bar.
5th quarter.
Meet the MSU players here at the R-Bar after every home game.
Montana State has an unbelievable lineage of quarterbacks over their history. You go all the way back to Dave Alt in the 50s. But then, of course, Paul Dennehy in the 70s, who led the Cats to the 76 National Championship, and Kelly Bradley in the 80s, and Travis Lulay, and Denarius McGee, and Dakota Prukop, and Tommy Mellott in the 21st century. Justin Lamson at least has an argument now for the greatest Bobcat quarterback ever, right? I mean, to be the MVP of the Brawl in Missoula, that gets you the home game, then to have the game-changing play in the Brawl 2.0, and then to throw the game-winning touchdown and be the most outstanding player of the national championship game, it's a pretty hard resume to overcome.
Yeah, that's it's kind of like that best versus greatest conversation. The guys that did it for 4 years probably have, a pretty big say in this whole matter. we'll see what Lamson does next year because I think that will absolutely change everything. If he goes and does something like this again, then I think it's no question. But yeah, I mean, it absolutely puts him on the Mount Rushmore of signal callers, and to go get the thing done. I mean, hard to say it's he's not one of them. I think it comes down to if you were there during one of those times, or if you had maybe have a preferential opinion or something. But otherwise, I don't think that there's any argument that he's way up there.
He's got the eye of the tiger, right? Like he had that game against Cal Poly where he was like short arming it and he was like fluttering it. I don't know if this is because the light was bad or if he was banged up at that time or whatever. And there's like a middle stretch in the season where it's not he looked tentative, he just wasn't whipping his throws. Like you're like, yeah, this guy has only an okay arm. I don't know what's going on. But then the moment he clicked it in and just got that Rocky Balboa look in his eye, man, like I mean, his performance in Missoula was one of the sharpest performances in the history of the rivalry. And then he outdid himself twice after that. The level of confidence he operated with in that national championship game was crazy. I mean, he totally believed that he knew they were going to win from start to finish. Like we were talking about everybody else going up and down and melting and stuff. He's one of the only guys that wasn't melting.
Yeah, no, I agree. He definitely is. It's not even a level of confidence. It's like a level of preparedness because he's not like a cocky dude. He's actually like so humble. It's shocking. And I think that just comes from like he's just an absolute gamer, like he's just kind of made for the moment. He doesn't have to hype himself up and become someone he's not. But his ability to run the football and like I told you, man, I watch quarterbacks like run into traffic and get with a level of confidence and try to truck guys and like kind of act dumb and get beat up. And he runs in with a level of security. He'll double tuck the ball and his face doesn't look like he's just like, about to smash someone. And then he just absolutely trucks people. Like his heavy bones and his level of preparedness in the weight room obviously has paid off. And yeah, I mean his running ability mixed with his ability to read defenses and make, good safe throws. Plus, a throw like on 4th and 10 to win the freaking natty. We're talking about an elite player, and the fact that he's coming back by all accounts, right? I mean, he's a guarantee, right? He's coming back. He's going to run it back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's anything as a guarantee, but I'd be shocked if anybody on the offense that isn't already in the portal entered the portal. Like I would be shocked if Lamson, Jones, and it, I could and probably will be wrong about at least one of these guys, but Lamson, Adam Jones, Dane Steele, um, Rocky Lencioni, I think those guys are all for sure coming back. You graduate Julius Davis, you graduate JT Reed, Cedric Jefferson's in the portal, Hunter Province is in the portal. Chris Long graduates, Ryan King graduates. I think Taco Dowler's coming back. I mean, I don't know, man. That's going to be the most interesting one out of all of them because on one hand, and that's my last question for you because we'll just go right there. Because on one hand, if you're Taco Dowler, you are the best playmaker in the United States of America. It's crazy he was second team all conference. That's stupid. They should have just made up a position for him. He's the best. He's one of the best players in the country. There's just no question about it. Like he is the biggest game changer in the FCS right now. He's going to get offered a ton of money. And some of these guys get offered a bunch of money and you go somewhere and maybe you don't play that much. He'd go play somewhere. Like he's going to get playing time pretty much anywhere he goes because he's such a unique talent. Like he's just so elusive. Like that dude can get open and break tackles against anybody at anywhere in college at the collegiate level for sure. So that's going to be an opportunity. He comes back. He has a chance to be one of the most revered players in the history of the state of Montana. He already is, but he has a chance to be, I mean, like one of the GOATs. You go back to back. I mean, you're like the Dave Dickinson of Montana. I know you're not playing quarterback, but you could be the Dave Dickinson of Montana State if you go back to back if you're Taco Dowler. So it's a huge decision for him to make. I know which way I would lean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, easy for me too. This is what else do you want in life besides an opportunity like this? I mean, put it on for your home state. You got your fiance who lives here. You got your family name. You got the legacy of the school. You got your quarterback coming back. I mean, for me, it's no question. But again, I don't live my life. I don't sell my soul to anybody. So hey, it is what it is. I don't blame anyone for taking money. Money equals freedom in a lot of ways. But for me, it is no question. But again, I understand that things are different these days.
That's the last point I was going to make is that we'll remember the names always from guys throughout all the generations. And we saw so many guys that we've covered over the years that weren't on national championship teams. But if you are on a national championship team, you just etched yourself into the lore of Montana. And people in Montana love the history. They appreciate the history so much. And it's not just the taco dollars that they remember. Now they're going to remember everybody. Everybody, especially the guys that are from Montana. Like I did that Grizz Greats 25th anniversary of the 1995 national championship team. And we were interviewing every dude that was on that team. Like guys that were, like the third D end in the rotation, but he's from Butte and he had a couple sacks in the playoffs. Like that dude is remembered for always, right? And that's like what these guys have the opportunity to do because there's never been a team that's gone back to back. And I know that they have a whole body of work they're going to have to accomplish. It's going to take another 11 months worth of work to actually be able to do that. But I don't know why you would ever walk away from that opportunity because there isn't Marshall waiting on the other end. And like, what would be the most fitting end chapter to this? Go back to Nashville and beat either Montana or NDSU in the championship. It would be crazy.
Yeah,
and these guys already are going to be remembered forever, but they have a chance to like really be. I mean, perhaps one of the greatest groups to ever come out of the state of Montana.
Yeah, when we say that, they're going back to back, like there's this opportunity. I mean, there's like a 10% chance, right? This is really hard to do. We're not saying that this is a guarantee, but guess how many opportunities you get to go back to back? One. You get one chance to do it. If you play for 4 or 5 years, I mean, sure, the North Dakota State guys, like you can talk about teams that have had those opportunities. When you're a team like this right now, the way that they're built, the construction, the foundation that we keep talking about, you get to this point with these kind of, and you're someone like Taco Dollar, you get one chance at this. And that's the chance of a lifetime. And hey, everyone's different. I'm not judging anyone for doing whatever the heck they want in this life. But for me and for where I know where I come from and someone like where Taco Dollar comes from, there is no opportunity that you'd rather have any time in your life. Zero. There's nothing more that you could ask for than even to have a chance at that. So we'll see how it plays out. But I know where my heart lies and what I hope for.
High tides raise all ships. Can this impact Montana moving forward?
It better. I mean, wake up, right? I mean, what else? Shit, man. Hey.
That's the biggest wake up call, right? Like you can, for whatever reason, the rivalry has swung in the favor of Montana State, and a lot of people that we are friends with or that follow this heavily have said, "Well, great, the Cats have taken the upper hand against us. What have they won?" Well, now what have they won? They won the first national championship in the state in 24 years. That has to be a wake up call for Montana.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not, then I don't really know what all this is for,
You can be proud to be the second best team in the country unless you're the second best team in your own neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty eye-opening for folks around here. We're Missoulians, grew up around here. It is as big of a wake-up call, I think, as you could have. And like I said on the top, Colter, it has to be that now we have to look over there. We, as being Montana Grizzlies, have to look across the hill and start to gleam and take some things from what Montana State's doing well, especially recruiting. We talk about the letters, and you see on Cat Grizz Saturday, we're seeing Missoula recruits get letters from all 15 coaches. On the day of Cat Grizz, they land at your house. Like, is Montana doing that? Is Montana sitting and texting late night with these guys? Is Montana, the amount of recruiting that's happening in Missoula just from Montana State is shocking. It can't be well, we're not going to take a guy because he's interested in Montana State. You have to go and get at least split the state and get half the guys. You can't let Montana State get them all. And that's, been the biggest difference in the last 3-4 years.
Thanks, that breakdown. SkylineSportsMT.com. Thanks to our great friends at Town Pump. We had an awesome time in Nashville. Couldn't get there without Town Pump. They are Montana's best for more than 6 decades. No matter where you're at in Montana, there is a Town Pump near you. Appreciate Town Pump for all their continued support. They have one of our most loyal and long-term supporters at Skyline Sports. We literally could not have this enterprise without them, so appreciate Clancy and everybody else there at the office for supporting everything that we do, and we'll certainly catch up with you down the road, hopefully sooner than later. But Brooks, we appreciate you being here. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Colter, I'm going to go take a nap.
We need it.
5 years. 25 weeks long, Colter. 25 weeks is what we've been doing.
Well, go take a nap, and we'll see you on the other side. We'll be back at it next week because guess what? It's Cat Grizz basketball in Bozeman, so we'll have plenty more basketball coverage for you, plus a more road to Nashville on the way back from Nashville as well. But we appreciate you for being here, man.
Yep, see ya.
Join Town Pump's Pump It Up Rewards Plus program and never pay full price for fuel again.
Save 5 cents on every gallon every day at any Town Pump across Montana.
Plus, earn and redeem points on your favorite in-store items to get free stuff with our clubs.
Stop in and pick up a rewards card. Download the Pump It Up Rewards Plus app today.
Or visit townpump.com/rewards to register and start saving.